Hey out there, Sam Visnic, director here at Iron Fitness, and this is going to be the first of a lot of videos I'm going to do answering some questions, doing exercise demos, those sorts of cool stuff that we're going to be doing for 2017. And let's get right into it here. One of the questions that I'm asked pretty frequently as a healthcare practitioner is, how do you stay motivated? How do you keep yourself doing this stuff, eating well and exercising day after day, especially when you've been doing it for a long time? So a really, really good question. And one of the things I do have to say before, answering that is that, because I'm in the health profession, my motivations might be, quite a bit different from anybody else's. So that does, influence me pretty heavily. But I think that we can all learn from each other to find out how each one of us motivates ourselves to keep showing up every day. And there are a lot of different strategies, and really it's all about figuring out the one that works for you. When it comes to motivation, I think the most important thing is to understand that there are two different sides of this, which is some people are motivated toward moving away from something, and then there's motivation of going towards something else. So this is kind of a push-pull when it comes to motivation, and we can talk about this on future videos about how this actually works. But some people are motivated to show up to the gym because they don't want to look a certain way. They make pictures inside of their head and say, well, I don't want to be fat. And that's something that pushes them away from that, and it gets them to show up. And then some people, make a picture in their head of their ideal physique or their ideal health, and they move toward that, and that's the thing that gets them to show up. And I have a combination of many things that I use to motivate myself to go to the gym. Of course, after being in this industry for about 16 years, I'm not 100% motivated by aesthetics. I mean, I want to look a certain way, but for me, it's a lot about health, and it's a lot about being a good role model to the people around me. And one of those things that I'm moving toward is being a good role model to my 15-month-old daughter. So, as she grows up, I want her to see that, the decisions that my wife and I make are eating healthy, and exercise is a normal part of what we do. We work out all the time. We go do activities where, we bike, we run, we go hike, we do all sorts of stuff like that, not necessarily just being in the gym, although that will be a part of what we do at some point. But I'm definitely moving toward, when it comes to that, as being a good role model. And at the same time, some of the negative motivators might be something like, for me, my job is health and fitness, so I don't want to feel incongruent, not participating in, healthy eating habits and working out. I mean, let alone the fact that I love this industry because it's what I do, that I'm still strongly motivated to be a good example and not feel incongruent. I'm sure that there are a lot of people in the health profession who don't look the part, so to speak, but I think that the way somebody looks isn't as important as internally how they feel about it. And if somebody is going to the gym and taking care of themselves for what I would say is probably the wrong reasons, that could be an internal congruence problem that needs to be resolved, or maybe it doesn't. So, everybody's got the reasons for that. But for me, I can't feel incongruent with my job, meaning if I'm going to do this job, I got to look the part and I've got to act the part, so I got to be healthy. And of course, that means, of course, you should be aware I'm not perfect 100% of the time. Do cheat meals, I'm loose, I'm not somebody who's obsessive about everything that I do here. So the other thing is, to me, a big one is discipline. And I'm a self-development type of person where, for years I'm a fan of Tony Robbins and Les Brown and all these types of guys who do motivational kind of stuff. And I always want to get better. And getting better internally, especially with skills, personal skills that help me in a lot of different areas. And of course, again, running two gyms and then running my own practice full time, it can be a little challenging, because there's so many things that I have to do on a daily basis. So being disciplined with my time, with my energy, all that kind of stuff is super important. And discipline is part of working out and eating right. I've got to be committed to eating the right kind of foods on a daily basis so I don't get brain fog, so I can work. I've got to be committed and disciplined that after 10 hours of work and doing all this stuff, that I go downstairs and I get my workout done. Even understanding it's not going to be a great workout sometimes because I'm tired and I've been working for 10 hours, but just that personal satisfaction of saying, hey, I did it. I was tired and I went downstairs and I did it anyway, and I was disciplined, is something that works for me. And I have an internal phrase to myself that's very motivating and powerful for myself, which is I say when I go to the gym, I'm honoring my commitment to myself today. And that's what it was. And my commitment is to being healthy and, again, being congruent with my job, all that kind of stuff. So one phrase has a lot of loaded meaning for me, and it really gets me up and moving. So, at the end of the day, I think you have to have motivations that you're doing it for you, mostly, and then you can gain leverage on yourself by adding in things like doing it for other people. So I don't think that your primary motivation for getting to the gym and taking care of yourself should really involve that much about other people. It should really be about you. And then if those other things help additionally motivate you, then that's something else that you can use to power that process. So that's my quick tips here on how you stay motivated. That's what works for me, and I hope that's helpful. Thanks for watching.